Welcome to the 2025 School of Kinesiology Commencement Ceremony. I'm Pete Bodery, Associate Dean of Undergraduate Education, and I have the great privilege of being your host for today. Before we begin the program, as a courtesy to others, please take a moment to silence your phones so that we can make sure that we enjoy the celebration uninterrupted. I would also like to remind guests to please remain in their seats during the awarding of degrees. What a wonderful day this is. We are thrilled to be in a magnificent auditorium full of very happy graduates, surrounded by their family and friends and our faculty and staff who are all here to celebrate your success. We're so excited to have Darlene Recker, a leading cardiac anesthesiologist, as our commencement speaker. Darlene, thank you for joining us on this occasion. We're also honored to have Regent Michael Beam joining us today as both a regent and a proud dad of a soon-to-be graduate. Thank you, Regent Beam, for being here. I see the tears already in the space. This will be a ceremony filled with smiles, laughter, and tears, and reminders of how far you have come since your first days on campus. You've had research opportunities, internships, study abroad experiences, clinical rotations, group assignments, and other challenging projects that have added to your academic portfolio. You have enjoyed great social, cultural, and athletic events. And most importantly, you have made friendships that you will cherish forever. This afternoon is about bittersweet endings and exciting new beginnings. You have distinguished yourselves and a population of high-achieving students who have worked hard and accomplished a great deal. We hope today's events will leave you with many wonderful memories of a celebration shared with family, friends, and the faculty and staff of the School of Kinesiology. We all know that it takes a team effort to make it to graduation day. Graduates, please stand and give your family and friends and our faculty and staff a round of applause for their support. Our celebration will move along quickly, and at the conclusion of the ceremony, the platform party and graduates will depart immediately to the School of Kinesiology building, directly across the street, where there will be plenty of photo opportunities and refreshments. More on this later. And now please rise as Kiran Mangrulkar, an alum from the class of 2024, sings our national anthem. Please remove your hats and mortarboards.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly gleaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Kieran. That was wonderful. And you can catch him on Spotify as well. It is now my pleasure to introduce Lori Ploutz-Snyder, the Dean of the School of Kinesiology. Dean Ploutz-Snyder became the leader of our school in July of 2016 after her successful tenure as a professor at Syracuse University, followed by a distinguished career as a lead scientist in exercise physiology at the NASA Johnson Space Center in Houston. Dean Ploutz-Snyder, on behalf of our faculty, staff, and students, I thank you for your leadership over the past 9 years. Please welcome Dean Lori Ploutz-Snyder.
Thank you, Professor Beaudry. As Dean of the School of Kinesiology, it is a great pleasure for me to welcome you to this celebration of our 2025 graduates. I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge our amazing kinesiology team. Faculty and staff, would you please stand? And let's give them a round of applause. Please be seated. Here at the School of Kinesiology, we don't just move. We move with meaning. We move the needle with the research we conduct, and we actually know this for a fact. There's software available that tracks research impact, and its data tell us our faculty members' papers have affected more than 270 policies on 6 continents. Maybe we'll try to crack Antarctica's legislature next year. We move how people feel with new therapies. It's the second year of our mobility program, our partnership with Michigan Medicine, in which students make sure patients get up and moving when they're in the hospital. Staying mobile seems like such a simple thing, but it makes such a difference, so much so that our program has already expanded from 1 unit and 4 students up to 4 units and 16 students. We move people closer together with new ways to experience the game. Our new Director of Innovative Teaching and Learning has spearheaded some incredible initiatives, one of which I will share more details about at homecoming in early October if you come back to campus. But this year, he's already had students using emerging technology to build and explore their own virtual reality museums devoted to different sports topics, like Little League and famous sports announcers. These are just a sample of the ways we've looked to expand how we move. Because here in kinesiology, we never stop moving, never still, never settling for what was. Our students embody this idea of evolution and adaptability. So I'm going to do a quick poll for you students. How many of you have had an internship or experience that helped you realize, I really don't want to work in that environment? But how many of you, as a result of that experience, have a better idea of what career path to take that will allow you to be fulfilled? Nice. And how many of you experienced at least one moment of doubt or stress along the way? Maybe you worried about passing an exam, getting a project completed on time, or even graduating. But how many of you didn't give up on earning your degree and will, in just a short while, come up on stage and graduate? That should be everybody. We're the leaders and best because we do not let problems overcome us. We invent out-of-the-box solutions and we persevere. I know that many of you have experienced extra concerns and chaos, even beyond the more typical challenges this year, and yet you are still here. I'm grateful that we can pause for a few short hours and celebrate you and your amazing accomplishments. So give yourselves a round of applause. We're sure that each of your families are as proud as we, your faculty advisors and mentors, are of this wonderful graduating class. As you move on from the home you've created here, know that you carry our sincere congratulations and best wishes, and remember that we will always be cheering you on in the tough moments and the victorious ones. This year's accomplished commencement speaker is Dr. Darlene Recker from the Movement Science class of 1998, and she too knows how to pivot and find success. After graduating from Kines and exploring several paths, I think she'll tell you about these, she shifted her focus to medicine and obtained her medical degree from Michigan State University. She pursued and completed a residency in anesthesiology from Rush University Medical Center before ultimately discovering her passion for cardiothoracic anesthesiology during a fellowship at the University of Chicago Medicine. As a dedicated physician, Dr. Recker provides perioperative care to complex heart surgery patients in the Chicago area. She played an integral role in establishing a highly successful, minimally invasive aortic heart valve program, working alongside a team of cardiac surgeons and cardiologists. Her expertise has made her a recognized leader in valve imaging, diagnosis, and clinical cardiac anesthesiology, helping to improve patient outcomes. Dr. Recker is excited to inspire the graduating class of 2025 by sharing her story, and I think you'll see it's one of perseverance, embracing change, and the power of following one's passion. Please help me welcome our commencement speaker, Dr. Darlene Recker.
Thank you. Please forgive me for the green. I bleed maize and blue still. Good evening. My name is Dr. Darlene Recker. I'm a proud alumna of the University of Michigan School of Kinesiology, and it is my absolute honor to be here speaking to you this evening. Thank you, Dean Ploutz-Snyder. Thank you, distinguished faculty. Thank you to all the family and friends who are here in a supporting role, including my wife, Susan. And most of all, thank you, graduates, for keeping the Michigan legacy alive of leaders and best through your exceptional accomplishments. The messages I'll be sharing with you about perseverance, vulnerability, staying true to yourself, and kindness aren't new. You've heard them all before, in different forms, from your mentors, professors, podcasts, media, and learn them through your own experiences. But we return to these truths as we send you off into your early careers like a compass to help you navigate. I love being back on this campus. I love the energy that this special place has and how it fuels each of us with pride and belonging. All of you are now part of the Forever Michigan family, which will be an invaluable asset to you in your life. And I'm excited to have you, class of 2025, leading us to a brighter and better future. We see you, graduates. We see the strength in you, and we see the strength in how you see the world. We see how you have weathered great adversity and uncertainty, adapting and rising to each challenge. You've come out stronger, more capable, and ready to lead. And now you are holding the golden ticket, a degree from the University of Michigan. It is a universally recognized VIP pass. The Michigan graduates who have gone before you have established a reputation that you are now connected to. We, your network of alumni, have made our mark, and now it is your turn. This is a ticket to your dream career. Your success won't be handed to you, though. You'll have to claim it. You might even get knocked down a couple times, but you'll also get back up. When I think about who I was when I was sitting in your seat 27 years ago and who I am now, I would not have been able to predict nor connect all the experiences that got me here today. After my graduation, I packed my car, I drove to California with the expectation that I would become a professional beach volleyball player. It's true. I thought that it would just work out. Well, it didn't. Less than a year later, I was driving back home to Indiana, discouraged, disappointed, broke, and unsure of what would come next. The first job I took was in the fitness center of a small community hospital that paid $9 per hour. Granted, this was 1999, but even then, it wasn't a lot of money. And at that time, this felt like a failure. I thought maybe my ticket was a dud. If you ever find yourself in this position, as I did, I want you to remember that sometimes the first step is to just show up as your full self. A quote I find helpful is from John Beilein, our former basketball coach, who said, "Just do the next right thing." Life is a series of decisions, and it's okay to travel off the beaten path. It's important to stay true to yourself and just do the next right thing. I showed up for that job, and I represented what a University of Michigan Kinesiology grad looks like, and slowly more opportunities presented themselves. So trust the thousands of kinesiology alumni when they tell you that your ticket is indeed golden. That $9 an hour job was the first of many steps that brought me to where I am now. After 6 years moving forward in my career as an exercise physiologist, now I'm making a reasonable salary, I decided to take another leap. I felt like I had more potential that I was ready to explore. And so I started to tell people, I think I'm going to apply to medical school. I had some of my own self-doubt. Am I good enough? Am I capable enough? I also received some lukewarm responses. Isn't it hard to get into medical school? People ask me. Do they even accept applicants as old as you? I was only 28. But there were a few close friends and family who encouraged me and saw that potential in me. And one of the keys to achieving your best, truest self is to gravitate towards people and opportunities that nurture the best part of you. I embraced that support and applied to a couple medical schools that year, but I wasn't accepted. Yet, I persevered. During the next application cycle, that golden ticket again provided me with the opportunity to interview. I made a conscious decision to let down the protective barriers I had constructed due to my self-doubt that were hiding my true self. I looked around and I thought, hey, why not me? Why not the real me? And I crushed that interview because we had a real conversation. I didn't just give answers that I thought the interviewers wanted to hear. I was simply myself. That moment of vulnerability set me on a trajectory through residency to become chief resident, then into a coveted fellowship at the University of Chicago, and now into my career as a cardiothoracic anesthesiologist. So be brave, class of 2025, by being vulnerable and allowing yourselves to be seen and be heard, especially in times of uncertainty. We live in a challenging time. It is all the more important to stand strong for quality science, quality medical science, and quality healthcare, and we must have the courage to do so. Fear and circumstance can make you want to build walls, but resist that temptation. Your fellow humans are looking for the real you, and it is the real you who will make the greatest impact. My last message is simple. Be kind. Be kind to yourselves as well as to others. But also, go even further and practice radical kindness. Simple, gracious acts can truly change the world. They can open doors, create unexpected opportunities, and lead to outcomes that just might surprise you. It's offering your full attention in a world that is addicted to distraction. It's choosing softness when hardness is just oh so much easier. It's radical, not because it's big or showy, but because it's rare and powerful. I was shown countless acts of kindness along my journey, some big, some small, but each one left a permanent impression and helped me along my way. On my way from Ann Arbor to California in 1998, before everyone had cell phones, if you can imagine that, I ran out of gas on I-94 here in Michigan. I did. A state trooper came to my rescue, driving me to get a can of gas. He told me that dozens of people had seen me pulled off the road, off the expressways, to gas stations to make payphone calls to alert the authorities that I was on the side of the road and needed help. I worked grounds here on Central Campus as a student, and one day I set the mower deck too low and I scalped the grass around the undergraduate library, better known as the Ugly. My crew boss not only quickly forgave me, but she also took the heat for me that day. One of my high school coaches, on her own volition, sent a game tape of me to a college coach, which indirectly led me to this great place, the University of Michigan. I still remember these kind of acts to this day. A smile, a kind word, a gesture. It's amazing how these things can change someone's day and even their life. Truth, kindness, honesty, integrity. These are the pillars that will guide you through your career and your life. And finally, class of 2025, let me say, you are extraordinary. You are a class that weathered a pandemic and persevered. You came of age during a heated political climate, showing resilience and doubling down on your values. And, by the way, you are the only class ever in the history of University of Michigan to be undefeated against Ohio State. Well done. Now take that golden ticket, you've earned it. Let it propel you into greatness. You have everything it takes to succeed. And I can't wait to see where you all go next. Congratulations and go blue.
Thank you, Dr. Recker, for those inspirational words. I wondered who was going to pull out the Ohio State piece first. So. We'd now like to recognize a few student award winners. The new Major of the Year award recognizes one exemplary School of Kinesiology student from each of the 3 undergraduate programs. Students can be nominated by faculty, staff, or fellow students, or can self-nominate. Kinesiology faculty select their program's winner based on academic achievement, service, awards and honors, and leadership. Award winners, please stand when your name is called so we can applaud your efforts. Our Applied Exercise Science Major of the Year winner is Alexa Poplowski. Our Movement Science Major of the Year winner is Maggie Eisenberg. And our Sport Management Major of the Year winner is Maeve Everett. We'd also like to applaud the recipients of the American Kinesiology Association, or AKA, Scholar Awards. Each year, these awards honor a select number of students with distinctive academic and leadership records. AKA sponsors awards in 4 categories: undergraduate scholar, master's scholar, doctoral scholar, and graduate student writing. Please stand when I call your name. The finalists for this year's UM Undergraduate Scholar are Jessica Pavey and Sneh Shah. This year's U of M Undergraduate Scholar is Dina Abul Hassan. This year's U of M Master Scholar is Amanda Valle. This year's U of M Doctoral Scholar is Sheba Davis. And this year's U of M Graduate Student Writing Award winner is Reed Surdick. Our program now continues with our first student speaker, Annie Skyer, who is receiving a sport management bachelor's degree.
To my fellow graduates, our esteemed faculty, proud family members, and every other individual seated in this auditorium today, I want to begin by expressing how honored I feel to share this historic milestone with you all. Congratulations are certainly in order. Ooh, moving the mic a little closer. Okay. I want to take this opportunity to talk about our legacy. As a former co-president of the Michigan Sport Business Conference, or MSBC, I can confidently say that this student organization has been the cornerstone of my undergraduate experience. This past fall, our conference tagline was, "What's your legacy?" A question that resonated deeply with me and one I find particularly fitting as we prepare to leave this campus and step into the next chapter of our lives. Reflecting on these past 4 years, I can't help but think that what your legacy becomes is ultimately just as important as where your legacy begins. My legacy began fairly unconventionally when I was admitted to the second cohort of the Sport Management Immersion Program, which allowed students to start their studies in the winter and take courses over the spring so they could graduate with the rest of their classmates. Eager to immerse myself in campus life, I arrived a semester early in fall of 2021, securing an internship to occupy my time. Like many of you, when I first arrived at the University of Michigan, I was incredibly wide-eyed, lost in the vast sea of maize and blue. But from the moment I first walked into the School of Kinesiology, I felt a sense of belonging that eased my initial fears. The warm beams of sun casting through the skylight created for the most hospitable of welcomes. It was during this initial period that my passion for the sport management program truly ignited, catalyzed by my first encounter with the Michigan Sport Business Conference. Without even taking a single class yet, I watched and listened to the co-presidents give their opening remarks and was forever changed. Yes, the conference itself is extremely impressive, but I was so impressed by how they presented themselves in such a succinct, mature, and eloquent professionals. In other words, everything I strive to be throughout my time here. Unsurprisingly, both of these individuals were sport management majors. Little did I know that 3 years later, I would stand in their shoes, addressing hundreds of attendees and embodying the growth fostered by this program. I know that if any of us had a chance to speak with our freshman year selves, they'd tell us that they'd be so incredibly proud of all that we've accomplished in such a short time. There are so many ways that the sport management program and the School of Kinesiology have helped shape my legacy. Many of my friends outside of kinesiology simply do not understand that it is normal for us to have 30 to 40 person classes. Our professors are not just our professors, they serve as mentors and advisors with whom we've formed close relationships. We've been prepared for the working world with more group presentations than I can count on my fingers. Both in and out of the classroom, one of the most important things I've learned is that legacies are not born from individual achievements. They're about how we uplift others and create opportunities for those who come after us. To our faculty, thank you for your unwavering dedication to our growth and success, never shying away from pushing us outside of our comfort zones, even if it means getting cold called by Professor Ron Wade when we least expect it. You've taught us not just theories and concepts, but how to empathize with others, lead with purpose, and adapt and persevere through the toughest of challenges. I want to give a special thank you to Professor Kelly Donahue for reminding us all that women belong in sport. You have spearheaded the growth of the sport management program and show continued, genuine care for your students and the legacies they are building. Thank you for inspiring me as a leader in so many ways. I have built my legacy here because of you. Almost done, I promise. To our families, your support has been our foundation, cheering us on through every challenge and triumph. And to my fellow graduates, each of you has contributed to this vibrant community in your own way. Whether through research, leadership on teams, or simply showing up for one another when it mattered most, you've all left an indelible mark on this school. As we prepare to leave for Michigan, let's remember that our legacies don't end here, but they are just beginning. Let us use today as a time to celebrate all of our achievements and look ahead with excitement for what's to come. The lessons we've learned and the values we've embraced will guide us as we navigate new challenges and opportunities. Excuse me. Sorry. May we continue to reminisce on the origins of our legacies here in Ann Arbor, and may we always strive to be the leaders and best in all that we do. Congratulations once again, and forever go blue. Now I'd like to invite our graduate student speaker, Amanda Valle, who is receiving a master's degree in sport management, to the podium.
Thank you, Annie. A little over a year ago, I found myself at a crossroads, wondering what to do next in my career. I spent the 2.5 years after undergrad working for the Atlanta Falcons, running their social media with the best team of people. It was a hard decision to leave, but I truly believed it was time to take a step forward towards figuring out exactly what it is I wanted to do in sports one day, and pursue my master's at the University of Michigan, the best university in the world. Standing here today, I can say with 100% certainty that it was the best decision I could have made. This past year has given me more than just a degree. It has given me unforgettable life experiences, like walking into the Big House for the first time, or seeing Michigan once again beat Ohio State in football. I have made incredible friends from all different backgrounds who I know will be at my side for the rest of my life, and was lucky enough to even meet some amazing roommates from Facebook, which I know is pretty crazy. I learned from some of the best professors who have challenged and inspired me in ways I never expected, from getting excited about sports law to learning all the ins and outs of finance, and even getting to speak with the National Women's Soccer League commissioner. I was also fortunate enough to work with the Michigan field hockey team and win a Big Ten championship in Maryland. Looking back at this year, I could not have imagined just how much this journey would shape me, and for that, I am endlessly grateful. The University of Michigan is truly special. There is no place like it in the world that has so much pride in their school. The Block M means something to each and every one of us, and I know it is something that none of us will ever take for granted. Though my time here was brief, I will always be grateful to be a part of this incredible community. It is often said that Michigan students are the leaders and the best, and looking around today, I see nothing but proof of that. I am honored to stand among such driven, talented, and inspiring individuals. As we walk across this stage today, we are closing one chapter, but we are stepping into something even greater. While we may no longer be Michigan students, we are now part of something that is even more powerful, the Michigan alumni family. And if there's one thing I know about Michigan alumni, they go on to do extraordinary things. whether that be here in Ann Arbor or in every corner of the globe. So as we take our next steps, let's carry that Michigan spirit with us. Let's not just chase success, let's chase significance. Let's make an impact, lift others up, and remember that every step we take from here is backed by the best university in the world. The world beyond these walls is uncertain, but if there's one thing I know for sure, it is this: we are ready. Not because we have all the answers, but because we've learned how to adapt, how to push forward, and how to create opportunities where none seem to exist. So thank you to my amazing professors, the one-of-a-kind faculty, my classmates that have turned into my forever friends, to my amazing parents, my amazing boyfriend who has been by my side every step of the way. Lastly, always remember the great words of James Earl Jones: respect integrity, honor excellence, and share your enthusiasm that is unknown to mankind. Truly, who has it better than us? Go Blue. Now I would like to welcome Michael Stack, Chair of the Kinesiology Alumni Society Board of Governors, to the podium.
Thank you, Amanda. Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Stack, and I'm the chair of the Kinesiology Alumni Society Board of Governors. On behalf of the entire Alumni Board, congratulations on your graduation. It is my honor to welcome you as the newest members of the Kinesiology Alumni Society. We hope that you will all continue to be strong, loyal, contributing alumni in the years to come and stay connected to the School of Kinesiology through its events, programs, and on social media. Many of you have received the direct benefit of alumni networking and connections for mentoring, internships, and jobs. In fact, I've already met some of you on social media, at networking events, and in classes I've taught in applied exercise science. Alumni engagement is the foundational component of the Alumni Board's mission. I'm sure you understand firsthand the value of these opportunities to meet and connect. I urge you to scan the QR code on the card you'll receive with your alumni pin when you walk across the stage. That will take you to a web page where you'll be able to learn more about the Kinesiology Alumni Society and the many benefits we can offer you. This includes career resources, invites to game watches, networking, group tickets to sport fundraisers that support the school, and so much more. On behalf of the entire Kinesiology Alumni Society, congratulations to you, class of 2025. I would now like to welcome Maggie Eisenberg to the podium to present the Students' Excellence in Teaching Award.
Thank you, Mr. Stack. Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here to celebrate with us today. My name is Maggie Eisenberg, and I'm the outgoing president of Kinesiology Student Government. It is my honor this evening to present the 2024-2025 Students' Excellence in Teaching Awards. These awards give students the opportunity to recognize School of Kinesiology graduate student instructors, lecturers, and full-time faculty for their meaningful contributions to the lives of students at the school. Kinesiology students nominate individuals, and the Committee of Kinesiology Student Organization Leaders selects the winner. The recipients are chosen based on their superior classroom teaching and innovative instruction, their dedication to challenging their students to learn and explore educational and professional opportunities, and their concern for students in and outside of the classroom. Our first award winner is Professor Brian Saika. Our students said he does a great job teaching during lecture and making every student feel included. He is so engaging in class and writes a killer recommendation letter. Brian always has a positive attitude and truly wants his students to learn and succeed even beyond the classroom. I would like to invite Professor Saika up to this podium to accept his Excellence in Teaching Award. Congratulations. Our second award winner is graduate student instructor Jane Nakamura. Our student said, "Jane is an awesome GSI. She is kind, understanding, helpful, and makes class immeasurably better. She thoroughly explains what she's doing and readily encourages others to get in on the action and not just stand and watch. This created a space where everyone felt comfortable participating. Really, she found a way to bring together the entire class socially and academically in a way I've never experienced in a lab setting. Jane is not present today to accept her award, but we wish her all our congratulations." Our third award winner is Professor Erin Wall. Our student said, "Dr. Wall gave me a love for anatomy. She was so encouraging and gave me a leadership opportunity by allowing me to TA. She is always friendly and approachable and takes a genuine interest in students' well-being." I would like to invite Professor Wall to the podium to accept her Excellence in Teaching Award. Congratulations. Our fourth and final award winner is Professor Nicholas Webster. Our student said, "Dr. Webster made me excited to come to every class every day. He made his lectures incredibly engaging and created countless opportunities for students to interact with each other. After I did poorly on an exam, he gave me lots of advice and showed care. When I went to his office hours and he realized I was quite worked up over school, he gave me some coffee and let me talk about anything on my mind. He creates an environment where no question or answer is considered dumb. Dr. Webster is a fantastic professor." I would finally like to invite Professor Webster to the podium to accept his Excellence in Teaching Award. Congratulations. Congratulations once again to all of the recipients of this year's Students' Excellence in Teaching Awards. I would now like to welcome Professor Natalie Colabianchi to the podium. But before I conclude, I want to congratulate my fellow graduates of the class of 2025. It has been a pleasure learning alongside all of you over the years. I wish you the best of luck in all of your future endeavors, and forever, go blue.
Thank you, Maggie. My name is Natalie Colabianchi, and I'm the Associate Dean of Research. Research makes up an important part of the academic experience in the School of Kinesiology, and we encourage our students to take advantage of the many opportunities available to them throughout their studies. For example, graduate and undergraduate students may complete a thesis while working closely with a faculty member on a specific research problem. I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the students who completed a research thesis this year. Students, please stand as I call your name, and I ask the audience to hold their applause until all the names have been announced. Jonathan Rush completed a senior thesis entitled Private Equity and NIL in College Athletics. Carolyn Collada completed a senior thesis entitled Barriers to Physical Activity in Low-Income Older Adults. Dina Abul Hassan completed a movement science honors thesis entitled Exploring Physical Activity Engagement and Support in Individuals with Systemic Lupus Erythematosus, the Impact of Social Support, Healthcare Provider Relationships, and the Built Environment. Jane Perry completed a movement science honors thesis entitled Comparing Perceived versus Standardized Clinical Assessments of Upper Extremity Function in Older Adults. Wensing Zhou completed a movement science honors thesis entitled Modeling Residual Limb Muscle Weakness and Gait for Individuals with Unilateral Transtibial Amputation. Catherine Elder completed a master's thesis entitled The Effect of Emotion on Kinematics of Choreographed Dance Movements. Melissa Seaman completed a master's thesis entitled Describing Perception and Decision-Making Changes Surrounding Exercise Before and After Diagnosis of Systemic Lupus Erythematosus and Cardiovascular Disease. Congratulations all. Okay, so now the moment you've all been waiting for, the graduates themselves. I'd like to ask Mr. Stack to take his position on stage. Students, remember to receive your pin from Mr. Stack and pause for a photo at the far end of the stage before returning to your seat. Kinesiology confers degrees in the following areas: Doctor of Philosophy, Masters of Science, Bachelor of Arts, and Bachelor of Science. We begin with the granting of our doctoral degrees. The following descriptions I'll be reading represent a synopsis of the dissertation project that each of our doctoral graduates have completed under the supervision of a graduate faculty member, as well as any honors and awards they've received during their time here. Professor Dae-hee Kwok, the Sports Management Graduate Program Director, will assist in the hooding of our graduates along with their faculty advisors. Stephanie Palmer and Professor Leah Robinson, please join Professor Kwok. Stephanie Palmer's dissertation, The Home Physical Activity Ecosystem and Children's Fundamental Motor Skills, explores how the home environment influences children's physical activity behaviors and motor skill development. While at Michigan, she published 6 peer-reviewed manuscripts, wrote 3 pieces for misciencewriters.com, and delivered 14 presentations at conferences. She also completed additional training and coursework through the National Science Foundation-sponsored Science Communication Fellows Program and earned a graduate certificate in data science. Stephanie engaged in numerous service and leadership activities, including peer reviewing for scientific journals, serving as a student ambassador for the North American Society of Psychology of Sport and Physical Activity, and volunteering with community-based programs such as Bright Futures and Science Education and Engagement for Kids. After defending her dissertation, Stephanie received the prestigious Michigan Institute for Clinical Health Research K-12 Mentored Career Development Award, which provides protected time for early career scientists to conduct translational research. Congratulations, Dr. Palmer. Adam Copeland and Professor Kathy Babiak, please join Professor Kwok. Adam Copeland's dissertation, entitled Managing and Modifying the Rules of Play in Sport, Multiple Theories Perspective, explored how professional sports teams make decisions about rule changes, an area that sits at the intersection of tradition, innovation, and organizational power. Adam's research offers important theoretical contributions to our understanding of institutional and organizational change, while also shedding light on the real-world complexities faced by sports leaders who are responsible for adapting the sports we all know and love. During his time at Michigan, Adam consistently demonstrated deep intellectual curiosity, a community mindset, and a commitment to high-quality scholarship. He has presented his work at national and international conferences, contributed to book chapters and peer-reviewed publications in top sports management journals, and served as a thoughtful and effective teaching assistant in key sport management courses such as research methods, organizational behavior, and business development in sport. He also played a meaningful role in the sports management PhD student community by launching the SM PhD Journal Club, creating space for academic discussion, community connection, and learning amongst his peer doctoral students. Adam is currently completing his first year as an assistant professor at Augusta University in Georgia. Congratulations, Dr. Copeland. Christine Molesky and Professor Stacy Lynn Sand, please join Professor Kwok. Christine Molesky's dissertation is titled Developing Human Rights Strategies for Large-Scale Sports Events, an examination of the United Bid and Planning Phase of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. During her time at Michigan, Christine distinguished herself with a strong body of research focused on strategy formulation and capacity building in sports organizations. She co-authored multiple peer-reviewed journals, articles, delivered presentation at major national and international conferences, and earned honors including the Paul A. Hunsicker Memorial Award and the Zatkoff Fellowship Award. Beyond her scholarship, Christine contributed to the School of Kinesiology community as a mentor, peer facilitator coordinator, and active volunteer with the Adaptive Sport and Fitness Program. Christine is now serving as an assistant professor of teaching at Wayne State University. Congratulations, Dr. Molesky. Please join me once again in congratulating all our newly minted doctoral graduates. I will now turn the stage over to Doug Trabue, the host of Morning Edition on Michigan Public, the public radio network based here at U of M. He will announce the master and bachelor degree graduates.
Thank you, Professor Colabianchi. I'd like to ask Professor Brian Syka to take his position on stage to congratulate the Master of Science Athletic Training graduates. Again, students, as you cross the stage, remember to shake your faculty member's hand, receive your pin from Mr. Stack, and pause for a photo at the far end of the stage before returning to your seat. Sarah Rose Miller. Haputantrige Jan Isabel Mariano Fernando. Desiree Tucker. Kira Nids. Marika Dow. Allison Matchkey Brame. Olivia Rose Goweiler. Addison Homeyer. Haley Nicole Freer. Ashley Gabrielle Forge. Rei-Chi Hong. Jacob Christopher Johnson. Isabel Gutierrez. Taylor Scraba. Taylor Ray Jones. Stephanie Ann Probert. Rachel Marie Droggs. I'd now like to ask Professor Deanna Gates to take her position on stage to congratulate the Master of Science, Movement Science graduates. Catherine May Elder. Melissa Jane Seaman. Nolani Siobhan Phillips. Bree Snyder. Brianna Sine Buchanan. Megan Elise Johannes. Callie Jane Waycaster. Katrina Elizabeth McGuire. Leah Helena Asta Till. Delaney Therese Besna. Ethan Laginus. Lucas Sharkey Eccleton. Brendan Scott Coulter. Isaac Stein. Andrew Pan. Mohammed Hamid. Now I'd like to ask Professor Dae-Hee Kwok to take his position on stage to congratulate the Master of Science Sport Management graduates. Mia Lael Michaels. Congratulations. Natalie Kalar Smith. Julia Rose Brennan. Calvin Robert McIntosh. Ryan John Sweeney. Aiden Walker Felty. Luke Stefke. Petros Chrysos. Cruz Moran. Michael Joseph Pels. Amanda Nicole Valle. Kendall Brianna Ray. Jade Alexis Lyons. Avalon Zahara Marcus Labenthal. Grace Riva Bostock. Jairo Zhen. Ha Yu Yu. Phai Ting Lee. Now I'd like to ask Professors Natalie Colabianchi and Laura Richardson to take their positions on stage to congratulate the Bachelor of Science Applied Exercise Science graduates. Grace Judy Graham. Anna Noelle Slider. Michael Joseph Olivero. Sneh Shah. Lauren Antonio. Alexa Gabrielle Poplawski. Karan Kyle Smith Mowewe. Piper Brady. Kylie Sue Shelton. Grace Lauren Sova. Holly Fu Meiling Porter. I'd like to ask Professors Sandra Hunter and Kara Palmer to take their positions on stage to congratulate the Bachelor of Science Movement Science graduates. Oh. We're going to go back to Applied Exercise Science graduates. There's more. Jasmine Fu Leanne Porter. Benjamin Stephen Willison. Garrett Owen Lewis. Skylar Jade Caston. Raina Hope Ostroff. Talia Annabelle Gilbert. Abby Michelle Golden. Tara Garaminajad. Maggie Dwyer Garrett. Ocean Struble. Lucy Victoria Hansen. Bethany Hannah Wong. Erin Christine Bedingfield. Danielle Sohi Hirsch. Lauren Alexandra Nerzia. Christopher Reed. Henry William Johnson. Jacob Daniel Kerner. Lindsay Flynn. Madison Cochran. Tatum Elizabeth Carrick. Carla Russell. Emily Abigail Oth. India Denise Spence. Isandro Manuel Jimenez. Olivia Lynette Jabari. Lyra Elizabeth Bordelais. Jabril Kershadov. Now I'd like to ask Professors Sandra Hunter and Kara Palmer to take their positions on stage to congratulate the Bachelor of Science Movement Science graduates. Danya Ali. Abby Shifra Ash. Abigail Nicole Even. Rachel Weinhofer. Caitlin Anna O'Brien. Scarlett Kirchie Hauser. Catherine Suprabrute. Ella Sage Hopt. Alyssa Marie Christopoulos. Ashton Danielle Walsh. Juliet Catherine Healy. Benjamin Chudy. Braden Barnett Weissman. Eli Parker Kaufman. Maggie Erin Eisenberg. Carly Ilana Levine. JC Ann Fowler. Reet Graywall. Josiah Sharon Lee. Thanisha Ashish Deshmukh. Sophia Carell Fornaris. Michaela Pearl Kelly. Sarah Rose Leaner. Madison Elizabeth Bray. Natalie Renee McDonald. Hadley Keyoung McElroy. Brooke Deborah Essig. Imani Drami. Sarah Weingartz. Dina Abul Hassan. Carly Renee Anschutz. Anne Marie Reed. Kimberly Ann Wiggins. Merritt Grace Baker. Alexis Lee Gladstone. Audra Brianne Shyway. Audrey Wynn Kleber. Lindsay Morgan Bauer. Kelsey Roller. Carolyn Annette Collada. Catherine Abigail Lawson. Quinn Macy Henkel. Isobel Eileen Muscovin. Jane Elizabeth Perry. Joelle Volstek. Napur Ajay Kumar Shah. Golden Cecilia Graham. Madeline Lerner. Amanda Brooke Machaber. Danielle DaCosta. Brianna Michelle Slough. Alexander John Levin Santalone. Michael Anthony McBride. Henry Yajo Yu. Zachary Lewis Chalianis. Amin Sheikh. Laith Jamal Ali Al-Hiafi. Miles Anthony Brown. Abigail Ketzlack. Misam Saba Tahir. Scotland Amaya Williams. Jessica Albrecht. Hannah Rose Selke. Ella Heitoff. Josephine Rose Pemble. Teo Christoph Meingast. Lena Jafar. Isabella Grace Morelli. Greg Parrish. Eric Giovanni Ramirez. Edmund Joseph Olenichuk. Andrew Frederick Renault. Jacob Eric Lutenecker. Logan Sterling Ludungdung Edwards. Abigail Ann Kramer. Catherine Elizabeth Nelson. Kushi Malind Modi. Navia Singhai. Dasan Taj Simmons. Julian Spence. Jake Michael Dordorikis. Michael Chase Lomonico. Lauren Elizabeth Brockwell. Kate Ashton Petoskey. Sawyer Nell Darish. Mackenzie Ann Gottberg. Skylar Ming Rule. Sophie Rose Heinonen. Sydney Grace Bommersbach. Julia Teresa Schwab. Autumn Elizabeth Graham. Monica Ann Inda. Victoria Mercier. Angela Moe. Gabriana Dyer. Olivia Quinn Meyer. Anne Louise Beam. Charlotte Trunsky. Gordon Ty Lowe. Catherine Elizabeth Graham. Evelyn Grace Penner. Kaylee Juliette Feeney. Amanda Elizabeth Michelle Sotolongo. Alana Leanne Reyes. Daisy Josephine Fills. India Chantel Harris. Josue Laura. Wensing Joe. Jenna Elise Montemayor. Caleb James June. Shrihan Reddy Nukala. Alexander Haynes Olson. Jacob Sanford Zoller. Erin Rebecca Frank. Amelia Elizabeth Hatcher Kay. I'd now like to ask Professor Josh Murgos to take his position on stage to congratulate the Bachelor of Science Movement Science graduates who have completed an intraoperative neuromonitoring concentration. Evan Elvis Mark Woodard. Emily Page Dean. Carissa Marie Roberts. Ashley Louise Stiss. Grace Ann Sutter. Tara Riley. Noah Yoon. Allison Nicole Engberg. Renee Lee. Adriana Noel Stevens. Rebecca Biju Zhang. Avery Madeline McNamara. Riley Lamandola. I'd like to ask Professors Brian McCullough and Kelly Donahue to take their positions on stage to congratulate the Bachelor of Arts Sport Management graduates. Matthew Benjamin Bishop. Navia Singhai. Jacob Michael Zachariah. Alexander Michael Sapochnik. David Williams Robinson, Jr. Ben Paulak. Charles Leo Cobb. Jasmine Fox. Kerrigan Natalie Price. Emily Noel Vandenbosch. Ellen Ivory McLean. Carter Borkholder. Thomas Martin Grace III. Maxwell Benjamin Mosio. Owen Gilmore Tilbury. Barry Lee. Zachary Jacob Levine. Nate Lime. Jaden Daniel Turner. Ricardo Villarreal Jr. Jane Federolf. Jillian Smith. Erin Ann O'Grady. Kaylee Dyer. Greta Marie Campschrader. Michelle Muhammad Ali Charanya. Natalie Sandler Giamo. Alyssa Nicole Pamictor. Claire Elizabeth Schneider. Emma Hajen Myers Inlos. Natalie Can. Ty Hunter Callison. Peter Lyons Simmons. Joseph Edward Burr. Joshua Bradley Brunsma. Jackson Philip Reed Buchan. Stuart Hamilton. Jack Isaac Bromberg. Max Victor Leeds. Nicholas Strober Collage. Henry Rogers Freilich. Kazin Chen. Riley Ann Ammenhauser. Congratulations. Kennedy Renee Johnson. Brianna Bates. Bryn Eliza Middlemiss. Taylor Lynn Bodanza. Catherine Marie Takako Bennett. Lauren Judith Strethling. Kayla Renee Johnson. Ezra Park. Jacob Carlson. Andrew Beaumont Leary. Ifan Wong. Zhang Zhuqian. Ethan Everett Bond. Maya Harb. Katarina Ann Stice. Fiona Yasmin Innes. Braden Daniel Withy. Donovan Christopher Flanoy. Cassius Catello. Jason Andrew Burlant. Karig Byrne Scully. Breezy Hoffmeister. Zachary Shue. Jack Adam Glenn. Spencer Craig Cowley. Chelsea Cherie Kearns. Iden Martin Olsturk. Patrick Carl DiMatteo. Ryan Cole Wexler. Jonathan Philip Rush. Tyler Stein. Kyla Finkel. Annie Skyer. Jacob Benjamin Breslow. Benjamin Naruzzi. Bojun Dung. Kai Ming Lee. Harry Liu. Den Gunn. Weihan Yuan. Yihui Chen. Zhang Wang. Ava Margot Pearlstein. Lauren Grace Courtwright. Aiden Maria Quintiliani. Samantha Michelle Rothstein. Natalie Gormley. Maeve Marie Everett. Rachel Boyen. Catherine Marianne Starshack. Thayer Marjorie Talt. Daniel Zachary Applebaum. Olivia Elizabeth DiMattia. Mia Hope Cohen. Sophia Michelle Farino. Gavin Mitchell Block. Sabrina Hallie Wool. Kevin Patrick Everhart. Rodrigo Velasco. Mackenzie Freeman. Amanda Hope Friedman. Emma Blumen. Danny Coleman. Adam Eisenberg. William Cole Weiser. Alexander Maxwell Leidner. Nathan Bieber. Brett Logan Bazarski. Tobias Benjamin Bayer. Elliot Frost Sable. Aiden Goldstone Swan. Max Oliver Berman. Brandon Cooper Rabin. Mia Alexis Yiannopoulos. Samantha Wadler. Olivia Sappington. Michael Brendan Petoskey. Sammy Goldman. Jordan Matthew Pomerantz. Jordan Shack. Lise Goldman. Kendall Ann Spencer. Sydney Ann Miller. Jessica Marie Pavey. Allison Renee Hall. Lena Kim. Jinju Kim. Robert Walter Dahl. Patrick Dawkins. Ethan Boren. Zachary Irving Jacobs. Jeremy Lee Sachs. Trevor Hamilton Capps. Jack Moed. Hunter Mackenzie Thompson. Ben Silberman. Bryant Scantleberry. Jorge Andres Tuche. Tim Cohn. All of these students have completed the degree requirements as prescribed by the faculty of the School of Kinesiology. Dean Plouch Schneider, it is my honor to present you the graduates of the classes of 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Tribou. Graduates, please stand. When you put on your cap and gown today, your tassels should have been placed on the right side, signifying that you had not yet graduated. On behalf of the Board of Regents of the University of Michigan and the faculty and staff of the School of Kinesiology, I congratulate you on your graduation this evening. Please move your tassels now from the right to the left. Well done, everyone. We're very proud of you, and I'll turn the podium back to Professor Beaudry one last time.
Congratulations, graduates. Ann Arbor will always be your home away from home, and you will forever be a proud part of the history of the School of Kinesiology and the University of Michigan. You are joining the largest team at the University of Michigan, more than 660,000 alumni throughout the world. To our graduates, may you always uphold the excellent tradition that defines Michigan alumni. Again, on behalf of the faculty and staff, thank you for enriching our lives, and good luck and congratulations to you, class of 25. In just a moment, we will conclude our ceremony with song, but first I need to provide you with some final instructions. After we sing, we ask that you all remain seated as the platform party recesses. The marshals will then dismiss the graduates row by row. Families and guests should remain in their seats as the graduates depart. Once they're out of the building, join them at the reception outside the School of Kinesiology building directly across the street. You'll see the tent on the left side of the building right before the flagpole. The building will also be open for students to show their families around. Now please stand and join Kieran Mangrulker, who will lead us in singing the Yellow and Blue. Kieran will then lead us in singing the Victors.
stars as they ride through the night and reel in a rollicking crew. Yellow the field where ripens the grain, and yellow the moon on the harvest wane. Hail, hail to the colors that float in the light. Hurrah for the yellow and blue.
Thank you, Kieran. Again, thanks to everyone. Congratulations, and we'll see you outside the Kinesiology building. Go Blue.